Hey everyone, it's your girl Alyssa. And right now, my entire family hates me, so I need your advice. So you see, I come from a very poor family. My mom stays home and takes care of me and my little brother, while my dad works at a restaurant for just above minimum wage. We have enough money for the necessities in life, but not much more left after that. I always felt bad for my family because I saw how hard my dad worked. So I always told myself, when I turned 16, I would get a job and help the family out financially. Maybe then, my little brother wouldn't have to have the same childhood that I had. My family never took me on vacation. We hardly ever went out to eat. And during Christmas time, I would consider myself pretty lucky if I even got one present. Was I happy? Yeah, sure. But in the back of my mind, I was always just a little jealous of my friends and all the fun adventures that they went on with their families. Well, the year finally came when I turned 16 and I was ready to join the workforce. I love beauty products, so I applied to every makeup store in our town. Sadly, only one called me back for an interview. It was my first interview ever, so I was super nervous and wasn't prepared at all. That's a lesson for you all. Always come prepared. Well, no worries. I always had a backup plan. If I didn't get a job at a makeup store, I would just work at the restaurant with my dad. I was a greeter and a waitress. I actually really enjoyed that job. I met lots of new people and also had a really great time talking to the regulars. I was planning to give my parents half of my paycheck to help them out. However, as time went on, they kept guilting me into giving them more and more money. If I tried keeping any of the money for myself, they would say, I loved myself more than the family. You see, I don't want to live the same way that my parents do when I'm their age. So most of the money I earned from my job went into my savings account. But my dad had access to this account and would see that I have thousands of dollars saved up, whereas he is in debt. He said I'm not doing anything with the money, so why shouldn't I just give it to them? Without my permission, he then took all the money out of my savings account. However, our living conditions didn't get any better. Instead, I saw my mom come home with a new purse. And Dad would come home with some really expensive shoes sometimes. I couldn't believe it. He was trying to make me feel bad for being selfish. But then they get themselves all these fancy designer clothes? I tried hiding some of the money I earned, but my dad always found out. I even thought about quitting my job, but that would just make my dad more angry. So instead, I came up with a plan to get fired. All I had to do was drop a couple of plates and show up late, and within 2 weeks, the manager would let me go. At first, it was nice having more free time for myself. After all, nothing changed around the house except Mom and Dad didn't bring home any new purses and shoes. However, I really missed saving money, so I had to think of a job where I can get paid in cash. That way, my dad would never find out. That's when I got this brilliant idea. So you see, there's a boy at school that likes me. He's a total nerd, but he's really sweet. I'm not really friends with him only because we have no common interests. He's into computers and video games, whereas I'm more interested in beauty hacks. That's when the idea hit me. He has a really fancy camera, and he is incredible at editing photos. I told him I would be a model if he takes pictures of me and makes them look gorgeous. He started blushing and said he would love to. I went to his house after school and started brainstorming with him how we can make money off of this. He said it may take some time and we may need a little luck, but if we can get a good following on Instagram, we can reach out to companies and advertise their products in our photos. He can get people to click on our picture by adding amazing special effects. And he said it would be my job to make people want to stay by offering useful beauty hacks. Well, it took us over a year to build an Instagram following, but we finally made it work. He took amazing photos of me using beauty products and edited the background to make it look like I was on a mountain or under a waterfall or something else epic. These pictures were more than just advertisements. They were art. We had a lot of followers, so we made good money by making brand deals with cosmetic companies. Eventually, we were making $1,000 a week. When he gave me my share of the profits to me in cash, he asked me what I was going to spend it on. Well, companies already gave me more free beauty products than I knew what to do with, so I wasn't going to spend my own money on more. So like before, I decided to save my money. I didn't want to live like my parents did, paycheck to paycheck. Once I turn 18, I want to invest my money in stocks or even a house to rent out to people. I was so excited for my future, and that's when it all happened. My dad lost his job. My family had absolutely no money saved up, whereas I had a secret stash of cash totaling over $15,000. And I felt awful. My dad was very stressed and was always pacing back and forth through the house. My mom started crying every night as the food in the cupboard started to disappear. I didn't want to tell my parents about my secret job, nor about all the money I had saved up. But my family was going to starve. So eventually I told them. And at first they were furious. They just couldn't understand why I had to keep the job a secret from them and why I didn't want to help any sooner. But you see, I didn't want to get into old habits of my dad taking my money and spending it on useless things. Over the next week, they stopped getting mad at me and were actually very thankful that I was paying for everything. And you know, it really felt nice to be appreciated. But weeks went by and then months, and my dad still hasn't found a new job yet. I started to ask my dad if he's had any new interviews coming up, and it was the same answer every time. Nope, not yet. It was only a matter of time until I learned that he wasn't looking for a new job at all. He was just freeloading off of me. He's the parent. Isn't he supposed to be taking care of me? I told him it isn't right to be using me like that. But then he would get mad at me and then try to guilt trip me again. I had enough of this. This isn't fair at all. I told my dad. By the end of the month, I would stop giving them money. And then suddenly his anger turned into sadness. He even stopped talking to me. But that didn't mean he would stop talking altogether. Oh no. He kept talking. But to my uncles, aunts, and even grandparents. He told all of them how terrible of a person I am and that I have thousands of dollars saved up and how I'm not willing to help them. I can't believe this. Why should I have to carry the financial burden? Why can't my grandparents loan my parents some money? Why does the rest of the family get a free pass? I guess it's because I have more money saved up than them. As time went on, it kept getting worse. Thanksgiving was at my grandparents' house this year because my parents didn't have enough money. From the moment I walked into my grandparents' house, I was getting dirty looks from everyone. They sarcastically asked about how my business was going and if I had enough money for myself yet. Every time I tried to explain, they wouldn't listen. There was just no reasoning with these people. But that wasn't the worst of it. My feelings were truly hurt at dinner time. We all stood in a line at the kitchen counter to serve ourselves some delicious Thanksgiving food. Even though everyone was rude to me, I was always taught to respect my elders by letting them go first in line. While waiting, my mouth was just watering just at the smell of the food. My grandmother makes the best mashed potatoes and her garlic bread is to die for. But of course, what more iconic food at Thanksgiving than a fresh turkey? I went to grab a slice of turkey, but my grandma hit the back of my hand with a spoon and said if I don't feed my parents, then why should she feed me? Are you kidding me? So I sat there at Thanksgiving with an empty plate. Guys, I really need your help with this one. My entire family hates me and I don't know what to do. Should I keep giving my parents money and let my dad continue to use me? Or should I look out for myself and continue to be shunned? Let me know in the comments what you think. Looking forward to hearing from all of you.